you ever heard the story of the magical porridge pot? Let me tell you. Just before Christmas, a poor old farmer and his wife had nothing left. No food, no money. All they had was one cow, so the farmer sadly set off for the market to sell her. On the way, he met a strange little man. This man had a long white beard that reached his bare toes, and he wore a huge black hat. Over his arm, he carried a battered old porridge pot. "That's a nice-looking cow," the little man said. "Is she for sale?" "Yes," the farmer replied. "Then I shall buy her," the little man declared, putting the pot on the ground. "I'll give you this porridge pot in exchange." The farmer looked at the old pot, then at his fine cow. He was about to refuse, but then he heard a tiny whisper. "Take me! Take me!" He shook his head, thinking he was hearing things. He opened his mouth to say no again, but the voice repeated, "Take me! Take me!" He realized it must be a magic pot. "You don't argue with magic?" "Certainly," he said quickly, handing over the cow's rope. He bent to pick up the pot, and when he looked up, the little man had vanished. Now, explaining this to his wife was not going to be easy. As he expected, she was furious. How could he trade their precious cow for an old, battered pot? She was in the middle of a very cross speech when a voice came from the pot itself. "Take me inside, clean me, and polish me, and you shall see what you shall see." Well, his wife was astonished, but she did as she was told. She washed the pot inside and out, then polished it until it shone like a new pin. The moment she finished, the pot hopped right off the table and straight out the door. The farmer and his wife just sat by the fire in silence. They had no money, no cow, no food, and no, not even a magic pot. Down the road from that little cottage lived a very rich, very selfish man. He spent all his time eating enormous meals and counting his money. In his kitchen, his cook was busy making a huge Christmas pudding. It was stuffed with plums, currants, sultanas, almonds, and who knows what else. It was so big, she realized she didn't have a pot large enough to boil it in. Just then, the porridge pot trotted in through the kitchen door. "Goodness me!" the cook exclaimed. "The fairies must have sent this pot just in time for my pudding." And she dropped the enormous pudding right into it. No sooner had the pudding landed with a satisfying thud than the pot skipped out of the door again. The cook shrieked, and all the other servants came running, the butler, the footman, the maid, but it was too late. The pot was gone? Meanwhile, the pot trotted all the way back down the road to the poor farmer's house. You can imagine how delighted he and his wife were to see it again. And even more so when they discovered the wonderful pudding inside. The wife boiled it up, and it was so big that it lasted them for 3 whole days. They had a very Merry Christmas after all. While the old porridge pot sat quietly by the fire, spring came, and the pot just sat there, quiet as can be.
Then one day, it suddenly trotted over to the farmer's wife and spoke.
"Clean me and polish me, and you shall see what you shall see." So, the farmer's wife polished the pot until it gleamed. And just like before, the moment she finished, it hopped off the table and out the door. Now, you'll remember the rich man loved counting his money? There he was, in his great hall, surrounded by piles of gold guineas and silver sixpences. Bags bulging with coins were on the floor at his feet. He was just wondering where to hide it all when who should trot in but the porridge pot? The cook had been too scared of the rich man's temper to tell him about the stolen pudding. So when he saw the pot, he was thrilled. "Goodness me!" he exclaimed. "The fairies must have sent this pot just in time to hold my money." And he started dropping several heavy bags of coins into it. No sooner had the last bag fallen with a satisfying clink than the pot skipped right out of the door. The rich man shouted and hollered, but by the time his coachman and stable lads ran in, the pot was long gone. It trotted straight down the road to the poor farmer's house. He and his wife were overjoyed to see their pot again, and even more pleased when they found the bags of gold and silver inside. There was enough money to last them for the rest of their days. They bought a new cow and lived comfortably, always keeping their special porridge pot polished and clean. It sat quietly by their fire for many, many years. Then one day, without a word, it suddenly trotted straight out of the door. It went up the road, over the hill, and out of sight. The farmer and his wife never saw it again. They always wondered where it went, perhaps off to help someone else in need. What a wonderful story of kindness and magic. If you enjoyed it, Please give this video a like and subscribe for more tales from around the world. Thanks for watching.